Welcome to Flat Out Elected. I am Rand Campbell. And as expected, and make no mistake about it, I was well prepared for the results of yesterday's video about sunsets and sunrises on a flat earth. As expected and as anticipated, Thicky did not receive the knowledge. Didn't happen. But I wasn't surprised, and I certainly wasn't disappointed, because Thicky has a very long learning curve. Curve, pun intended. It takes him a long time before he's able to receive what he observes. So he responded immediately, because this is, a part of his thing. I believe that he, and it's sad, but at the same time, we make our beds and therefore we lie in them. It is sad, but I think Sam is very, I think he's a very lonely man. And I pray for him, because, anybody that uses their time to consistently attack others or to consistently try to mock or insult others, we already know through, living this life what that is. And a lot of times it's a call for help. Sometimes it's, their own regrets, their own hate, and they have to project that onto others. And it's sad, but it most certainly is a true fact of life. And I believe that, as his case, I believe the same is for many. I think that we come across these people on the internet. They're not trying to do anything productive. They're not trying to bring new perspective or new information, or, as I believe, increased knowledge received as God is pouring this increased knowledge out onto those with eyes to see and ears to hear. And so, because they're not receiving this knowledge, it's almost, I don't think it's anything less than almost jealousy. It's almost like they have to attack it, or they have to defend the ways of this world, because they're not receiving the increased knowledge. But they don't even understand that the increased knowledge is receivable the closer you get to God. It really takes a closeness to God in order to receive the blessings that God has for us. And I believe that a lot of these obstacles that keep us distant from God, sin being number one, sin separates us from God. We know that's true. If you're a Christian, you understand that sin separates us from God. This is why sin pays out in death. The wages of sin are death. And so I think that, the more you listen to Thicky, the more you realize that there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of regret. There's even signs of depression. My belief is very simple. I think that he is calling out in pain. I think that the more videos I see of him attacking the brethren, the more videos I see of him attacking people in general. If you look at his videos, I would say 95% of them are attacks on other people. And that speaks volumes. I think that's a pretty clear indication that there's something wrong with him. There's something within him that he feels joy and satisfaction, and he gains laughter from attempting to hurt others, attempting to mock and insult others. And I think that, we should all pray for him. I would really appreciate it if everybody in this channel prayed for Thicky, that he would be able to come to terms with his relationship with the Lord. because he thinks that what he's doing is right. He thinks that, you know, in heaven he's being applauded, and he doesn't understand that the people that he's attacking claim Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. I love the Lord with all my heart and soul, and so do the people on this channel, and so do a lot of flat earthers that I deal with. I've separated myself from the flat earth community that is anti-Christian. I haven't separated myself from the ones that just simply are not Christian, because I believe that they will come to know the Lord. And they certainly will get information, I hope, that leads them to the Lord on this channel. But in respects to Thicky, he did a video. He responded to the sunsets and sunrises on a flat earth video. And we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at how he can't see. He has no ability to see. It's incredible to me, because the evidence that we put up yesterday in respects to sunsets and sunrises on a flat earth. Now, okay, I'm gonna show you his response, because it's kind of cute, really. I mean, it's literally like trying to explain color to a blind man. And, you know, I think we've gotten the blind man a little frustrated. And when I say blind, Thicky is spiritually blind. He can't see what's right in front of him. He just can't. So we're going to watch his response. We're going to have a little bit of fun with him. Good-hearted fun, without being insulting and disrespectful. But let's take a look at his response to yesterday's video. We're gonna actually allow Thicky, seeing as he has positioned himself for this, we're going to allow him to be our case study on why the heliocentric fool does not understand the truth that is being presented with flat earth. We're going to let him be our, and again, I mean this with all due respect, you know, there is a dummy driving the Tesla through outer space. Well, I think that I'm gonna refer to Thicky as the driver of that car. So let's see if we can't figure out what's going on with Sam and his extra long learning curve. Take a look at this. This is his response, and then we'll talk about it at the end.
I asked him a very simple question to why we are observing the top of the sun during the sunrise. Yet he's coming up with this idiotic example, saying that this is why that we are seeing the top of the sun. Check this out. Now, as you can see, you can see the top of the sun just slowly coming up. Now, do you guys see any problem? I'm not just saying that there's something wrong with this tattoo, but also, do you see any problem? We are above surface. We are not below the surface. This stupid Ranny gives me this as a proof, and this is the reason why we are seeing the top. Obviously, when we lower the perspective, obviously, you know, it will change. We have to see above, above the surface, not below it. If we see below it, obviously this will happen. But guess what? We are on Earth, not below Earth. Okay, Ranny? So again, I'm asking you a question. Why do we see the top of the sun during the sunrise? I'm going to show you the sunrise right here. Okay? As you can see, we are above the surface, not below the surface, just like you have exemplified. No. Give me an example above the surface and show me if you can only show me the top of the coin. You can't. Only when you can be below the surface of the table can you do so. So without actually changing the perspective, when you want to repeat the test, you want to actually copy that actual life. All right? the actual life that we are in, we are not below the surface, but rather we are above the surface. Okay, Ryan Campbell? So, again, the question is, why do we see the top of the sun during the sunrise? All right, Ryan Campbell?
Ay, 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 ay. That was absolutely ridiculous. Ay, Thicky, Thicky, Thicky. Okay, so where do I begin? First of all, he uses a tactic that is used often by deceivers. He starts off by pointing to the man's tattoos, says not that he has a problem with it, but clearly he does, otherwise it wouldn't have even been mentioned. But he does that to belittle the experiment and the experimenter. And it's a subtle maneuver, a subtle tactic that is very typical, again, by deceivers. They want to point at something that doesn't mean anything. It's got nothing to do with the situation at hand, and he does it subtly, but he does it, to be honest with you, he does it very dishonestly. Okay, so there's that. I digress. But let's get to the issue at hand. So here's one of the major flaws in Sam's inability to be honest and at the same time view things with eyes to see. So clearly, Thicky, the table is not the natural size of that of which we call Earth. The table is very small, comparable to the size of the Earth. And so for that reason, the perspective has to be the way that he did the experiment. It has to be in that it has the exact way that we would observe the sun rising. The table is maybe 4 feet by 8 feet, and the dime is clearly not the actual size of the sun. But he does the experiment in a way that lines up with our observation. So by you saying that we are above the Earth, you're suggesting that this all changes from a mountaintop to a valley. So if you're in a valley, we would experience or observe the sunset differently than we would if we were on a mountain. Pretty ridiculous. I'm going to show you something very important that I'm 100% certain you have zero knowledge of. And again, proof that you've never done the research. But, like I said, we're going to use you as a student of Flat Earth. You're a rebellious student. You reject truth. I mean, that's obvious. You're in the classroom, but you really don't want to be here. You're arguing with the truth from a seat of deception. But that's expected because you're a hard case. You have a very long learning curve. And so for that reason, nobody expects that you're going to get this in the first lesson. It's going to take you a while. You're extremely argumentative, and you are extremely angry, and you are extremely asleep. You have what I refer to as being SLD, sleep living disorder. And most people do. It's an unconscious state based on indoctrination and the slave mentality of humanity. This is exactly what the enemy has done. You are literally proof that Satan's devices, that Satan's indoctrination has worked. And that's why, and I've said this many times, that we are in a time of increased knowledge. Increased knowledge is increased truth, truth that we didn't have before. And what you don't understand is that in your indoctrination, you are literally asleep to truth. You are defending what you have been taught because you think it identifies you, and it identifies you only because you refuse to be identified by Jesus Christ. You see, Jesus Christ should be your identity. If Christ was your identity, you would seek truth and question the world we live in, considering the world we live in is greatly deceived. But let me just show you something, and hopefully it'll give you, I don't know, maybe it'll give you somewhat of an understanding. Maybe a light will go on, maybe not. But let me show you that you've never seen a sunset. Never. So all of those nights, those lonely nights that you sat on the beach with your guitar singing about sunsets, you've never seen one. Suns don't hide behind a curve. As a matter of fact, you take a look at this video and let this sink in. I'm gonna pray on this for you. I'm gonna pray that you get an understanding that horizons always meet us at eye level, and horizons are flat. As a matter of fact, they're called horizons because horizon means when you look left to right at the horizon of an ocean, it's not bending. You're not seeing any bending. And I'm going to show you now that you've never ever in your entire life, no, not once. It is ridiculous that you think you've seen a sunset. So I'm going to show you what happens when you take a sunset and you zoom it in. You're going to see there is no curve. Sunrises and sunsets only meet your ability to view it from as far as you can see. Your eyes cannot see past the horizon. And I'm going to show you this. So understand, very simply, that the table does not represent the size, the actual size of the earth, Thick. And the dime does not represent the actual size of the sun. That experiment was done precisely correct to our observations based on the size of the table comparable to the size of this flat, non-moving earth. You take a look at this sunset being brought into view with a camera, being brought into view with a zoom, and you'll understand you've never seen a sunset, and you've certainly never seen a sunrise. God bless you, Thicky. You have a blessed day. To all of my viewers, thank you for watching. This is going to be a process with Thicky. We're taking him to school, and it's about time, because I think that flat earthers need to take this kind of time to educate the heliocentric fool and give them an understanding that, you know, when God said this earth takes shape like a seal in clay, that's exactly what he meant. And we're beginning to see the truth that Satan absolutely has deceived this world, and he used pseudoscience to do it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just believe whatever Satan has told them, and they don't ever question it. And this is a channel that's going to answer some of your questions. So, Thicky, God bless you. But to my viewers, I thank you for watching these videos. I ask that God bless you. You guys take care of yourselves. If you like these videos, you like this channel, sub it, share it, hit that like button. If you see any dislikes, they're probably Thicky. He's got quite a few sock accounts. He likes to go to Christian channels, and he likes to go to flat earth channels and thumb them down. So you guys thumb this video up. Let's see if we can't get our friend Thicky here to graduate. See if we can't get him a diploma. He's not going to get a Nobel Prize, but we may be able to give him a diploma. God bless you guys. Take care of yourselves.
But then I caught sight of that sunset, and I don't know. Something stirred inside me, and I had to stop and weep. There it is. Here I go again. What is that darn thing gonna say?